Living small means more time outside of your house. And that's one of the absolutely beautiful things about living in a small house is that it's about getting outside of our comfort zone. It's about getting into our community. And so one of the really beautiful ways to look at it is that, we have our house, but this earth is our home. We have, for example, our national and state forests. That can be our home. That is the public commons. And so the more we get outside of this idea that our house needs to be our everything, and we start to realize that we are inhabitants, we are citizens, we are residents of this earth and of our community, that allows us to really be able to get into this simple living and really get into this space of being comfortable in a tiny house. So there's a couple really big keys to that. And this comes down to the idea of community, the idea of communal living, and the idea of shared resources. When you live in a small space, you might not be able to have everything that you might need. And that's where sharing resources come into place. So when I lived in San Diego, for example, I didn't have a car, but I used a car share program. You might not even have a bike, but you could use a bike share program. You might not use a food processor but once a month, or a food dehydrator but once every 2 months. Shared resources are key. So working together with our community to meet our needs rather than having one of everything for each person. A big thing to think about is that supposedly the average electric drill is only used for about a half hour of its entire life. So that means that 99.9% of the time it's just sitting. So instead, if you can share these things within your community, and you can do this in a very organic way, just by connecting with your neighbors and being able to share things, or there's the shared economy. There's so many things like libraries of things, or tool libraries, or regular old book libraries. You might not have room for thousands of books, but you have a library card, and that allows you to live tiny while having access to an incredible amount of resources. So get involved with your community, think about communal living, and think about shared resources. And that turns a tiny house into really a lifestyle.